Let's go up to it.
Now look
The reason why so many beautiful, well-rounded women cannot find a partner is because a lot of parents failed their sons. My mom on a walk had asked me, "We know so many beautiful, well-rounded girls. Why are they single?" I responded with, "Your generation was so hard on the girls. Like, we literally had to be made out of glass. We couldn't afford to make mistakes. Failure was not in our vocabulary. Like, we literally had to be perfect." So now you have this large group of women that are almost like overperforming. So now you have this large group of women who know how to take care of a home, know how to take care of themselves, are family oriented, but they also have the ambition of a man and are career focused. Overall, they are performing at standards and expectations that are so high because back home, specifically, my parents are from India. Back home, women weren't granted the same privileges and rights back home in India. So my mom still had me performing the gender norms of a good Indian daughter, but I was encouraged to basically utilize the freedom that I had. Parents failed their sons because while so much pressure is being put on women, nothing was put on their boys. They were and are still coddled. They're not independent, meaning that they're codependent on their parents for multiple things. They also have no sense of leadership. They're consistently relying on a system for guidance and direction instead of building like that inner voice and trying to take initiative to build their life. That's why women are single. Because not only did we have to fight for the life that we wanted, it was completely possible to do that. Though it was hard, it was possible. But there are men that don't want to utilize this opportunity to better themselves and like have dreams and have goals. Instead, they're looking for a partner to be a replacement for their mom.
Where do y'all find this shit? Okay. All right. All right. Good quality women are single because men ain't being raised right. LB, is that fair or foul?
So hold on, because all right, again, I'm using my iPhone, different platform, so I missed like the first half of that, because it wasn't like loading up for some reason, whatever. So I'm gonna ask a question, and then I'm gonna ask you to paraphrase that like first part or even like all of it, because it sounded, was she saying that? All right, was she saying that she grew up in like the ability, I don't know if it was here or Canada, I don't know, but she was saying that she grew up with the ability to be independent. She was taught, independence and all of that, but with the same like roles and morals of that culture, right? Whereas it sounded like she was saying the men in that type of culture grew up and are still coddled. I mean, help me understand what she was saying, because I came in on the middle to the end of that, and it just sounds like she's saying men are like still coddled to this day by their parents
Yeah,
versus
essentially.
females being coddled.
Yep, essentially that men are looking. The end of it, that men are looking for another woman to replace their mom. So he's looking for somebody to take care of them. They don't have any ambition. They don't have any leadership. They don't do stuff. I don't know. I don't know what else. No, but no leadership, no drive, no ambition, and they've been coddled. And she said that it was India actually. She said that she had been raised with the typical good Indian girl cultural norms, gender norms, but then was encouraged to be independent. Use her independence, so to speak, to her advantage. So that's kind
Encouraged
of
by
what she
who?
was saying.
Encouraged by who?
Well, she's
It's
from India. I would imagine she was probably encouraged by American women, probably by college, probably by her college.
oh man, you really gotta okay. So then I'm just wondering, okay, so she's talking about, because who's the type of men that she's referring to? If you
It sounds like she's talking about men, generally speaking.
Because if she's talking in general, then she's of course absolutely false. Um, absolutely false. She's talking about in general. Absolutely false. I would say that you need to expand you wherever you are getting your experiences or whatever. You need to expand that. You need to get into a different circle. Um, now, of course, now if she would have preferenced it with in her experience or in the line of men that she's come across, or if she can pinpoint, if she can be more specific, uh because of course I'm gonna have to say it's false because it's not all. Do I think that overall the I think overall w- this culture here has become hypersensitive, um and and so I can't even say that it's just the men, you know um and then you also got to look at how both sides are being raised. Like, just because you were raised with your Indian background and those morals and things of that nature, you know who's to say that there aren't a bunch of females out there that are who have been being told to be this way, and is that right? So no, her whole no, the way that she has generalized it, and you can say that that is your experience, but nah, it's false.
Yeah, I, I, I can't, I can't get on board with that. Yeah, I can't get on board with that. I'm gonna dig in just a second. Hang on, let's look at this in the chat. Big shout out to the chat. Let your voice be heard in the chat. All right, talk to us. Let us know what you think. We don't got all the answers.
She
She
also, so
also
Diamond
go ahead,
says
go
she
on.
also made mention of parents failing their sons by not requiring anything of them and requiring everything out of their daughters more. So, okay, what does that look like? So I've heard something similar to this before, where okay, what does that look like? Well, the parents are requiring the daughter to keep the house up, wash the dishes, take care of the younger ones, not be out so late. Um, there's a earlier curfew or something like that. Is that what we're speaking of? And on the other end, the boys are not being required to have those type of duties. And I haven't heard. I feel like I've heard this side more from other females, than men talking about ladies not having requirements. However, I do know of some females personally who never had to take out the trash, or never had to uh, uh, wash a dish, or never had to do certain things, and they were always called princess, and even taught that uh, a man is supposed to take care of them and whatnot. I do know of some personal. So it is both ways. Like, I've seen those pillow princesses, if you will, and I've also seen the ones who are basically required to be a second parent, a fill-in for the younger siblings, or just being taught uh, those roles, or those skills. So I've seen it both ways. So again, for this lady though, I'm trying to figure out, like, she can't think, or maybe she does, that every female is like her, taught the same thing she was taught, experienced the same thing she experienced.
But one thing is for sure, um, she exposed why she's wearing three rings on her hands, and none of them are on the third finger of her left hand.
We live. We live.